So I'm Chelsea Thompson. I graduated Alma College in 2020, in December of that year, and I currently work for TriTerra as an environmental scientist. So I perform a lot of risk assessment for folks purchasing commercial property. People don't want to have to be financially liable for contamination they didn't cause, and they also don't, want to have any adverse health effects by being present on a property that may have contamination. So we help folks identify that contamination, decide if there's a risk to human health or to the greater environment, and then how best to mitigate that. Yeah, so a lot of my coursework really focused on the greater impact. It's one thing to understand the science and to understand, yes, this contaminant is bad for your health, but kind of considering, the greater social, economic, and political factors that could go into getting into environmental justice, and perhaps why folks might be more susceptible to different risk factors. That was a big part, kind of something that was touched on in all of my classes, is here's the base of the science you're learning, but then also here's how it really applies to the rest of the world. Yeah, I come from a really small town. I graduated high school with a class of 60 folks, and I really liked the small class sizes at Alma, the opportunity for experiential learning. I did a ton of research projects that was really beneficial, not only to me as a person, developing my skills, developing my interpersonal relationships, but having those on my resume as well. Yeah, so I was fortunate to conduct research almost my entire Alma experience. I identified an issue that was, facing water quality in my hometown, and I presented it to Murray just more as a question of, what might be causing this? And he said, well, let's explore it. And later in my academic experience, I continued to build on that. So I studied my local waterways. I studied waterways local to Gratiot County, and then I also did a pretty comprehensive policy analysis of, we understand that this kind of issue is happening, but why is it happening? What series of events led to this happening? So I was really fortunate to be able to kind of chase that all the way through. I was an environmental science major, and I feel that the Alma Environmental Science Department is really set apart by its core focus on science as a whole. Some of my colleagues that went to other institutions perhaps were, embedded in more of a general biology program, which is great, and it's excellent to have that broad experience, but being able to really hone in on the field itself. And I do believe, I can't speak for other departments, but I know the Environmental Science Department has a very strong alumni network. Even just this morning, I was talking with another, student who's interested in kind of the same things I do, and I see myself in that person, and I think, okay, if when I was that age, what would I have told that person? And I was very lucky to have those alumni guiding me through my experience as well. We're a very close-knit bunch, I would say. I would recommend that a prospective student consider Alma because of all of the great experiential learning opportunities that are available. It's one thing to have a degree and walk away with this valuable information, but to be able to have field experience and perhaps experiences that challenge, your ways of thinking and encourage you to think creatively and attack situations from all different perspectives. That was something I was very happy to have, with my political science classes and sociology. I took ethics classes, even a religion class, and how does that interact with? So I think the liberal arts education really provides that comprehensive way of thinking.